Dear students, I will show you an Old English language text, and I would again talk about the features that this particular text possesses. I hope by the end of this session you will have some more hands-on experience of applying your knowledge of Old English on any text that is taken from Old English language. Here on the screen you can see a text that I hope you are already familiar with by now. If you look at this text, there are certain features that make it unfamiliar, that make it sound strange, that make it look strange when it comes to the graphological representation, or when it comes to, the representation in letters or in words. However, only that is not different in Old English from the present times. Rather, the phonological differences also existed. So, with reference to both phonological and morphological differences of Old English, I would talk about certain parts from this text. In fact, in this text that you are familiar with now, pronunciation is a great concern. We don't know how to pronounce certain words. Let us once again together try to read it out and give it a voice, and let us try to pronounce certain words. So this, I'm going to show you by certain parts being underlined or encircled. So, this breathhold is a name that we found in the text. Let us go back and see how does it look. Both the words, in fact, breathhold and spoke. Let us see how they are represented and what are the possibilities of pronunciation. Interestingly, the name remains the same. It is represented in the same way. What about this? Methlod? This is the pronunciation. Here, what we had. Notice how much difference occurs. Again, I would like you to go back and notice the second line particularly. Can you read this text that I have just now underlined? He was old retainer. This is he. This was, the change in this sound, this was has changed now into was. Now we pronounce it as was. Also in writing, now we use a simple A for that. Notice this particular word. Here it is written as eld. Notice this combination. A, eld. Whereas now how do we pronounce it? Old. Notice this particular sound that we produce and how we write it. Again, I would like you to notice the third line. Here, let me take a different color for that so that you could easily identify that. Notice this line. Only this much part of the line I would talk about. He. This he and this, please compare. Look at the varieties that were available in Old English. Full, boldly. This word I am going to write again here for you. And the modern English version is this one. Focus on what happens. A, this is B. Here it is O. Boldly. Boldless. Here it is boldly. So this shift in the sound that happens. Secondly, the suffix that is added. Suffix, is the last part that is added to a root to give it a new meaning or a form. So from bold to make boldly, as we use it now. In the olden times, This is how it was used. And by the way, notice this particular morphological feature as well. We do not write any, we don't have, any word in modern English writing that is represented like this. Okay, we have this as a small, I, but we do not have anyone like this. Again, I would like you to see the fourth line, and for that I would use again a different color to help you distinguish that. This particular part. And actually I would go till here. Mind must be the firmer, heart the more valiant. I would just focus on this word. You know what is this? This is what you write as, heart in modern English. Notice the vowel change. Notice the change in the ending. In fact, this word in totality, seems so very unfamiliar if we come across this. So, basically, it is really important for us to understand that there were a lot of phonological and morphological changes that occurred in English language over the times. And this is, the copy of the text that I am showing to you right now. That is the modern version of that. Look how easy it is to read here. For instance, this line. His full body exhorted the warriors. Mind must be the firmer, heart the more valiant. So, my dear students, what did you notice about the phonological features and their representation in this text? If I ask you this question, I hope as an answer you would think of the strangeness of the symbols that are used for the representation of the sounds, the difference in the sounds, and particularly the difference in the vowel sounds, how they have changed over the times. So this, I hope, was a good experience for you of reading an Old English text.